Hello, everyone. I'm immigration attorney Andres Mejer. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to be answering recently asked questions from our social media channels to help you have an easier immigration journey. We have a very popular video about amnesty. I'll put the link below, and lots of our questions came from the comments on that video. If you have a question you'd like to have answered, post them below, and I may talk about them in a future video. If you don't know me, my name is Andres Mejer. I'm an immigrant like my clients and many of you. I worked hard to become a US citizen. My family was a victim of immigration fraud when I was a child, so I decided to help others as an attorney so that didn't happen to them. My number one goal is to make your life as my client better than it was before you met me. As I said, today I'm going to answer questions we've been getting on our pages. As a public safety announcement, this is not a private page. That means it is public and anyone can see it. If you don't want immigration or anyone else to see the things you are posting here, please don't post them. Contact us privately. If you are the victim of abuse, please don't use your real name or a recognizable photo. Your number one goal should be to stay safe. We've had several questions about VAWA. Frankly, we get several questions in almost every video we have about VAWA, which is why we're going to talk about it again tonight. VAWA is the Violence Against Women's Act. It is a bill that allows women and men who are victims of abuse to obtain a green card without having to stay in the abusive situation or be forced to have your abuser sponsor you. It is also sometimes allows you to get a green card for a derivative beneficiary like your children. We had a viewer who recently shared some disturbing incidences about her spouse. She wasn't sure what to do or how to proceed. As I said, the most important thing is for your safety. In the US, it is not okay for your spouse to abuse you. There are shelters that can help by offering housing and sometimes financial assistance, as well as legal advice. This viewer said her husband took the SIM card from her phone so she couldn't communicate with family. In many cities and states, it is abuse to interfere with a communication device. That means they can't take your phone away from you or take the SIM card out. Abuse, for VAWA purposes, can take many different forms. Your spouse may say they're going to get you deported if you don't do what they say. They may cut you off from contacting family or friends, or not allow you to work outside the home. They may push or shove you or hit you. They may call you names. All of the above that I just explained are examples of abuse. You don't have to accept it or stay with them in order to get an immigration benefit. Often, people who come to the US are afraid to call the police. Even US citizens who are victims of domestic violence find some police aren't very sympathetic towards what is happening to them. This is slowly changing, and some police departments have victim advocates to help you through the process. But sadly, we have seen this does continue to still happen. In fact, we had one commenter who told the victim to stay in their relationship until she had her green card and then she should leave. That is usually the wrong advice. We don't recommend staying in an abusive relationship just to get your green card. That's what VAWA is for. You don't have to stay in an abusive situation to get your green card. We had another commenter say that if they didn't have a police report, they couldn't get their green card. While it does help to have a police report, it doesn't make it impossible if you don't have one. A good immigration attorney should be able to help with this. On a separate note, we had a commenter say that they didn't have a police report, so they couldn't get a U Visa. That isn't accurate either. Although in most cases, in order to get a law enforcement certification, known as a Supplement B, you usually need a police report. But law enforcement isn't limited to just the police. For example, if your Child Protective Services agency in your state investigate a situation in the family home. If there's evidence that you were a victim of a crime, that report could be enough. However, you do need to have been willing to or did cooperate with the authorities to get a U visa. Not every investigation begins and ends with the police. It could be the IRS, it could be tax authorities, it could be Child Protective Services. It's any agency that has the authority to investigate and ultimately can issue a report can also sign the law enforcement certification. So you don't have to have a police report. However, in most cases, much of the investigation in most crimes does begin with the police, just doesn't in every case. Natsumi said she was in Guam and applying for her VAWA visa. I recently spoke about applying for VAWA when you are outside the US and that it can be done. We wish you luck with that, Natsumi. We're sorry for the abuse you suffered. Natsumi asked if she must get a divorce after getting her U visa. Natsumi, that's a good question. You don't have to get divorced, but if you stay with your abuser, USCIS may accuse you of committing fraud when you apply for your green card or your citizenship later on. We know a couple, not a client of ours, who said there was abuse in their relationship. They separated and divorced, and the female got her green card through VAWA. A few years later, she got back together with her ex-husband, and USCIS took her green card away, saying she had received it through fraud. We know that many people return to their abusers. That is one of the reasons law enforcement isn't the most sympathetic when it comes to domestic violence. Does that mean that there was fraud? Not always. The couple said they had gotten therapy and he wasn't abusive anymore. Unfortunately, USCIS wasn't buying it. If we were their attorney, would they have gotten a better outcome? We will never know. But I recommend to everyone that they look at how their behavior may be seen by USCIS in the future and to be cautious. If you have any doubts, contact a qualified immigration attorney to answer your questions before making any applications. We did have one commenter who told us that immigration officer told her to get divorced, and she did, and got her green card through VAWA. We appreciate you responding so kindly to others' comments, LaDonna. Thank you. We're happy you were able to get out of that relationship and get your green card. That's all for tonight, folks. I hope you found this helpful. If you have questions you'd like to have answered, please post them below. Stay healthy and be well.